What's up with it?
Man,
What's up,
what's
y'all?
good?
We here
We
another
in there.
episode, the Fiyah Session, season 5, episode 2. Today, we got something different for y'all. We don't have a topic today. We got an interview with somebody that's dope, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. But y'all know how we get down when we first get on the show. We gotta check on the people and make sure everybody good. So we're gonna start with the lady of the crew. Welcome, Miss Trisha Michelle.
Hello. I'm
How
good.
are
I'm
you
great.
today? How are you
What's
today?
up?
I'm great. A little bit of lack of sleep, but I'm still great.
You right. You right. You right.
You
You
know,
straight.
I stay busy.
Hey,
Always.
Always.
I didn't realize when we were younger how valuable sleep was. And when your mom used to tell you to take a nap, and you be like, I don't want to take no nap. I don't want to go
No
sleep
nap.
now. I wish I had I wish I had a nap. I
Man,
wish I had
Us,
some time
us,
to
us
sleep.
grown folks, yeah, we be on go mode 24/7, paying these
yeah,
bills.
That's a
a
fact.
nap would be beautiful, but ain't enough time in the day.
Hey, that's
Too
how
much going on. Trust me.
yeah, it's a lot going on, but you know what? People, it's important to get your rest.
Oh
So no
yeah.
matter what you're trying to do in life, no matter what your hustle is, you got to get your rest and you got to get your water. Those two things are
Water for
I
sure.
mean, hey, but you gotta go to the bathroom, okay? You
Oh
got
Lord.
this guy.
you gotta go to the bathroom. It'll bless your life. I'm
Get you
just
some
saying,
sleep.
let's
Get you
my
some
health
sleep.
care for
Stay
you that.
hydrated and stay clear. Is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
yeah.
this is very pertinent information we get.
Yeah, the hydration will help all of that.
The
Yeah, yeah,
hydration will. It
Yeah,
will.
yes,
yeah.
yes.
But
That's
just
a
Drink,
stay
fact.
drink your
stay hydrated.
water. Cheering, drink your water.
Drink your water.
Okay, so before we get started, I got to bring this up. Chris Brown has been, what I'm saying, all over the internet with these pictures that he is charging the fans $1,000 a
Hmm.
picture, which I have no issue with because I tell people to invest in experiences all the time. That's an
Right.
experience, right? That's something that you will never get again in your life. Being able to be that close to Chris Brown in proximity to be able to pose the way you want to and capture that moment, right?
Right.
I have no problem with that. But he's in Dallas tonight, so today I warned my people, like my brothers, especially brothers.
Giving out warnings.
If
Right.
your
I'm like
girl,
warnings.
if your
Yes, because
uh-uh,
a lot of brothers about to be mad because they girl posing with.
if your girl going to the concert,
What you
Oh
get $1,000 for?
check
67% of Americans don't even have $1,000 emergency
where they
fund.
coming
Where
up
you get
with
that
it.
right
money from?
now,
They coming up with it because there's a lot of pictures out there. So,
it's a
uh,
lot.
my
It's
Yes,
brother, check
yes,
your bank account tomorrow. Check the bank account.
yes, fellas.
If it's lighter $1,000, Breezy got the girl up there.
Breezy was in your bank account.
Man, hey, little light spoon action. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm so done.
Did you just say light spoon?
Light spoon action. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, never mind. Never. Yeah, that's
But
about right.
I mean, but what I love about it is the happiness that he shows on the pictures. It looks genuine when
It
he's
does.
hugging these people because they're his fans and it's a good feel. But some of these chicks, I'll be like, I mean, they paid you $1,000, so maybe that's the where the happiness comes from. But I don't know. But
I
I ain't.
mean, yes, that's the name of the game. You give me $1,000, I'm supposed to show up happy,
We're gonna get a great picture.
all of that. Put your beautiful face on, your lashes and everything. Just come on, take this picture.
Hey, but I warned them. So you know what? And I also told the fellas it's also an opportunity for you in this, right? Because there are going to be a lot of girls at this concert, a lot of women out there at that concert. So there's only one Chris, but there's many of you. So you can take the opportunity to be the consolation prize for
The
the ladies who could
consolation
not
prize.
afford
I'm
go take the picture with Chris Brown. They can still leave with something, man. You
My
can
man on one tonight.
so
I
you
thought I had the juice.
they can single-handedly be chosen.
you
Yes, fellas, there's stuff. Always look for opportunities in life. They
And
man.
just
always
know
bring it.
that
You
she chose you after Chris Brown.
Hey, that's okay. Chris Brown's up there. So if
He's
I'm
a legend.
Brown,
So, you know.
Chris Brown, I take that. You know what I'm saying?
So done.
Not me.
Look, he said, not me.
Not me.
I know why you here. Don't come
Cap.
over here.
That's Cap. Like the cap on his head. That's Cap. Because Benji knows that if some of these women that was like used to date Chris Brown and they came to him afterward, he would.
I mean, you gotta understand, if they paying $1,000, we can always pontificate and politic. I'm just saying. That means they got
to pay $1,000 for you. They might pay $50.
See, that's the thing. See, my ego is big enough. I'm gonna be like, you know, like really. So
it's just $1,000.
No, Benji's on the $40 list. $40.
That's a bargain, Benji.
$40.
I'm expensive.
All
right, y'all. We gonna quit clowning around and we gonna get to the next part of our program, which is, you know, we're gonna introduce our guest. Our guest is somebody who I've known for a long time. Good guy, you know, very, very, very creative. Always has been creative. I was just telling Benji before the show that I met.
You got crossed up.
Well, I met this fella in high school. We started playing basketball.
Somebody got crossed up.
Yeah, we started out in high school playing basketball together and things of that nature. And, you know, we finished high school together. So we got a chance to be around each other for those 4 years and, you know, go through our maturation process together. So it's a great pleasure for me to be able to bring him on the show because he's doing big things now. And I just wanted to introduce our audience to something different, a little something out of the ordinary. But we're not going to hold him up long. We want to bring him out. We got somebody special. So let me give y'all a taste of what our special guest, Mr. Kendrick Dial, does.
All right.
Yes, just a sample. Just a sample.
Just a little bit.
We started out selling the soles of shoes until we climbed into the attic and started putting our souls to use. Then they called us. But we were more than that, more than tracks. The truest form of evolution that Darwin spoke of, and we did it for the love of this art form. Even when society had no heart form, we gave this music another form. We liberated it. Southern bred hip-hop, improvised some beatbop, park benches and bus stops. Spoken from NY accents to now Southern grammar. But we not country bammers, we musically tipped hammers. Banging through GA, that's Georgia. On Southern playlist of Cadillac music, we used this to show what we were going through. From East Point to Savannah, all through Atlanta, the interpreters of this musical language, fusing soul funk, electrical jazz, rap, rock, and blues. We've even been screwed, but our fortitude and spoken words and styles that you ain't heard. We're not from this earth. Consider us AT aliens. Me and you, your mama and your cousin too. Rolling down a strap on Vogues, coming up slamming Cadillac doors.
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Dial.
Nice.
Good folks, what's going on?
What's happening with it? What's happening with it?
Good times.
Yeah. So let me tell y'all a bit about that clip. I sent him that clip. Y'all already know. I'm gonna make sure that, you know what I'm saying, I present the most you know, the best things about our guest. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put something out there that they don't want to put out there. So I send it to him and he was like, wait a minute, did I send you that? I said, nah, I can't be searching. I'll be searching. I'll be trying to find
working behind the board. He found it.
Hey, and I'm like, you had to chop it up too, because I know it wasn't that short of a clip.
Nah, but you know, I didn't want to give the people everything. What we show is we're gonna give you just a little bit, but we want you to go do your Googles. And we want you to go to Apple Music, all these platforms, and
follow the man.
Yeah. Go do your own work. We just here to give you a little bit of sample of what, you know, what he offers. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we ain't trying to give away the secret sauce. We want you to go. You know what I'm saying?
Go subscribe while you're at it. Yes.
Right.
Yes. We need you to do that. This doesn't work without you.
Facts.
Subscribe.
Okay. So what we want to do is start out by letting the audience know, kind of tell us who you are. Like, where you from? What's your background? What set you claim?
What you claim? What you throwing up? W's? What's happening?
Hey, I grew up in Southeast Dallas. Like that was the home.
See,
But,
that's home down there.
Yeah. But we moved around a good chunk, and so I ended up, I did a little time at Oak Cliff, then we ended up in Pleasant Grove. Right. So like
Pleasant Grove.
Thing like middle school on out of high school, I stayed in Pleasant Grove and whatnot. So
what year was that you stayed in Pleasant Grove?
Like 93 to 90, 98. Because when I graduated, I bounced.
He's like, I'm out of there. Yes. That's why I was asking, because I got ghosts from there in like 88. I was like, we need to get up out of here. This is wild.
So yeah. So it's funny. It's funny, Kendrick, because Benji's from Bonton. That's
yeah.
Bonton, and spent some time in Pleasant Grove as well.
Yeah. See, Turner Courts and all of that.
Yeah.
That whole Bonton down low. Like all of that, man. Just grew up down there. It's crazy, man, when we always meet folk from back home, you know what I mean? You probably never seen before, and then bring up your roots, where you come from. That's pretty dope.
No, that's real. We used to the little park at Dunbar. So my folks up Lego and Metropolitan, like that whole little space over there. That's where I was at and whatnot. So yeah.
So you just somehow ended up in Cali, Benji?
Huh?
So you just somehow ended up in Cali, huh?
Yeah, I needed to get out. Listen, the brother been in a lot of trouble. I needed to get up. You got to understand. Not pleasant.
I said, we got to talk about your past on the show.
We did a whole episode on that. Jeez.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think so, actually. Yep. See?
Yeah.
Did you tell us why you was running?
Say they're from Pleasant Grove, but the Grove wasn't pleasant.
No, it was not pleasant. The first opportunity a nigga got a chance to get up out of there. Like, go. Yes, get up out of here. It was crazy.
All right, Kendrick. So let's continue with the journey. So, okay. So you started out in Dallas, and then you shot the deuce out to high school. Like, continue that journey. Where did you go?
So I joined the Navy. So, me and Dez joined the Navy. And even that's an interesting story because I didn't necessarily have plans to go to the Navy, but Dez wanted to be like a Navy SEAL. So he was already hoorah, all this good stuff. And I just happened to go down to the recruiting station with him one day. And, everybody in there happened to be black, and it was cool.
Right.
And I was like, it can't be that bad. But then after that, when I did the little ASVAB test, I scored like really high. Like they wanted me to be like a nuclear engineer. I'm going to submarines. I was like, well, I can't even swim like that, so I sure ain't gonna go underwater. So then it was like you could be like a radar tech, and so it was that money for school. So I was like, all right, bet let's do that one. And it was like I was in school for like a year and a half before I even saw a ship. So that was a different experience from what a lot of people experience into the military. Because I really went to like a technical, school.
Right.
And so I did that. After that, ended up going to Japan for a little bit for my first duty station for like 6 months. And I only went out there because they were doing a crew swap. And so they were going to be coming back to San Diego. So I was out there for 6 months, and then I had to stay with the ship because of the radar system that I worked on. And then we came back to San Diego. So I've been in San Diego ever since.
Now, let's shift back to this Navy thing, because you said you went to Japan. Now, let's rewind. You're a smart man. So did you have any fun in Japan? How was Japan? Talk to us about Japan, because you're a Navy man now. There's respect on all fronts.
I think I feel the sentiment that you're exploring. And I was, mind you, it was 20-some odd years ago, and Japan was culture shock.
Right.
So I will say, like, that dynamic, I'm from the South, like, it's like,
right.
For sure.
Like sisters, what is like, and I wasn't one of those folks that said, I need to taste the rainbow. I wasn't necessarily that. So that particular experience in terms of being out there and getting to travel, because we went to a few different other places like Hong Kong, a few islands off Hawaii, in those experiences, just being able to kind of see like how different the other side of the world lived, but at the same time how similar too. So right. it was a different experience and whatnot. I saw Goody Mob out there. Like,
Oh wow. Okay.
like yo,
Yeah,
they
so
had FUBU on. Like they was they was
Rocking
FUBU. Like it was
straight
such a
from the south or whatever, right?
yo. It was a trip. It was like how much black culture was in it and of it. It was. I wasn't prepared for that.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. So,
Japan.
but it was cool.
that's cool.
Okay, so when you start talking about like your training and everything that you attained in the Navy, did you actually, is that the summation of your school or your education at that point, or did you go to college as well after that?
So for my first 6 years, I was in that. Is it six? Yeah. For the first 6 years, I was in that radar tech. Because we went to science and engineering. Magnet, that was the school that we went to. So computers, wave for the future. That was the vibe that I was on. But then it just made me realize that I didn't like working with machines like that.
He's
So
like ended quick.
yeah, so I was like, so I eventually switched to. I was able to get a special ability to be a substance abuse counselor at a residential facility, and so for my last 3 years, that's what I did. I was a counselor, ran groups, did one-on-one counseling, and did train classes about, uh, sober living and all that good stuff, trying to manage your life. And so that really kind of set my path, like afterwards, like, because I've been in that field ever since.
You
So
found your calling.
Yeah.
so how did you even make that pivot though? Like going from the machines to the counseling, like what pushed you in that direction?
Yo, so honestly, I got to the point in A where I really like hated it. Like I was like, you remember MASH?
Yeah.
Yes.
You remember Klinger?
Old school black and white.
Yeah, you remember Klinger? So
Yeah.
Klinger was the one who used
It
to
was time to go to bed when MASH came on.
right. So Klinger used to wear dresses and everything, try to get out.
Right,
I
right.
didn't go that far, but I was like, headaches, migraines. I was like, I need to go see a doctor. Like I was just
Yeah.
trying to like, yo, get me up out of here.
Trying to
To
get a
the point where
medical
I really
discharge.
started getting headaches and everything for real. Like
Right.
that belief in like, conjuring some stuff was a very real thing. So I was like, oh no. But what ended up happening was that space kind of really challenged me to dive into myself to kind of see how I want to show up. And the other piece that really kind of happened was I recognized that my gift was connecting with people.
Right.
So even in my work center, we were technical work center, I ended up started doing jobs like the repair parts petty officer, the administrative petty officer, so that I wouldn't necessarily have to do the work. And so I was able to get
Like I'm through with this, right?
We're
right.
gonna
So I was
find a
able,
way.
yeah, hey, that's what we do. And so I was able to connect with people in that way. And so I just really realized like working with people was a really my space. And around that time as well, y'all getting all this traffic. And around this time as well, I had also kind of got more into. That's when I started doing spoken word and poetry. And
I was just about to ask that because with the Goody Mob experience, I'm sure you knew about them already, but to see them, how was that moment? I know it was a culture shock, it was triggering, but is that something that propelled you into music, or how was that experience?
honestly, so I started out doing spoken word, and so my grandmother's street that she stayed on was right down the street from Paul L. Dunbar. And for whatever reason, when I looked him up, he was a poet. So that was always in the back of my head. And so I used to write. Mr. Payne had like he gave me like he raved over one of his, he was our ninth grade English teacher. And so he raved over one of the pieces, and I was like, first time I really kind of opened me up to actually being good at it. But outside of that, like I didn't do stuff in public or share. But I went to when we got back to San Diego, when we got to San Diego, visited my friend, his cousins in LA, and I saw this cat Talam AC. And I saw Talam AC, and I was like, yo. And it was just him and his words, and he spit, and he just captivated the room, and it was just a whole experience. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And so when I got more so into the San Diego scene, that's what I was doing. So, and for me, it was always about merging my world. So I started even doing in the rehab facility. I would do poetry at the main orientation when folks would get there. I did a piece just to kind of orient them to what their experience was going to be. And then I would, use it in the context of counseling and stuff like that too.
Right.
So that was kind of like where it kind of grew from. And then eventually it shifted to me being able to tap into my style was very musically inclined. So then the more I did it and started like this guy, my buddy Melvin at the time, he ended up recruiting me to help him with this. It was a Christian open mic called the Psalmist Hour that we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started doing that and whatnot. And then I ended up started hosting it, and they had a live band. And so that's where I started getting my reps, just in terms of like performing with a live band and just vibing and freestyling and stuff like that. And it just kind of kept evolving from that space.
I like that.
And
Especially at the center when he's doing the spoken word, you know. I mean, I'm sure that's pretty revolutionary.
Yeah. No,
and here I am thinking he was inspired by Darius from Love Jones.
right.
I think when we
he said he used to be a journalist first. He used to write first. So
I'm saying when we came through and Love Jones came out, you cannot tell me that everybody didn't have a little poem, little poetry, spit.
So you got a little poem right now? You got a poem?
Oh, we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back.
You can't.
I always got something, you know what I'm saying? The Fiyah session. You know what I'm saying? Like I got that. I'm telling you. We ain't gonna go into all that right now.
We'll spit some bars later. You know what I'm saying? We
always got that. Yeah, but you know, it's funny that, you know, we often talk about when we have guests on the show how everybody starts out
right,
you know, with this one track that they have, you know what I'm saying, focused on, and then throughout that journey you come across experiences that cause you to pivot and go in different directions. And I think that's a common theme, and that's what I try to make sure that young people understand. Excuse me, that I don't think that we were told a lot is that we're going to have opportunities to pivot. We're always just told that, hey, let's get this done, and that's what you should focus on. Because I tell people all the time, like when we left high school, I had a skill at architecture. So, you know, architects get paid a lot of money. So I'm like, I'm going to school for architecture. Right. Well, I went to school for 2 years for architecture, and then
I didn't like
it. I got my summer intern. I was like, yep, this ain't for me.
Like, I'm out of this. Yeah, it's funny because most of the interviews we have, that is the exact same thing. People shift in life. People change in life. You start out and hold on. Navy though?
I know.
Navy. You didn't think Air Force? I mean, I always stand up for the Air Force because, you know, representation in the Air Force. So, you know. But Navy?
When I tell you I wasn't planning to go, like that was not like it was. You heard how I made the decision,
right?
Had it been in the Air Force, I probably would have. And they was black, and I probably would have
been there too.
It was the vibes.
Like, it was the vibe, and it was like it was probably one of the best decisions that I made for my life.
A lot of people, I hear a lot of people say that though. Like, yeah, that's good.
But also, don't get me wrong, I'm strategic. My job had me on the ship. I wasn't going out there. You don't have to put me over the water. Like, I'm gonna be on the ship. Y'all push a button. And like I used to be, you know, you see the movies and they in the combat room.
Yeah.
We got a boat looking at the radar with the bleep, and it's like we got a bogey coming in at 48. That was me. But I probably wasn't the best to do it because I'd be listening to music.
Bro on the ship and ain't even noticed the missile coming. Y'all talking to stars or something.
I was like, that's like this ain't for me. I'm not that concerned with y'all right now. I'm not concerned with y'all saying.
That's like, a lot of younger kids, you know, they hear Navy, Air Force, or any of those, and they just think like you're going in to just do one thing, and they don't get to hear about the other experiences that aren't like, you know, detrimental or you know creates all these bad vibes or don't want to do it. So to hear somebody that, you know, I got to kind of put myself and choose and be strategic with it and do that is good, because a lot of them turn away from it, and sometimes a lot of them need it. And like you said, it was the best decision of your life. So
folks said it. At the end of the day, no matter what our situation is, we have to choose how we want to show up in that space to make it what it was. And so for me, when I started like getting depressed and everything, like my awakening was really like, yo, you made this decision to do this. Like you gotta own it and just for a limited time, just do what you gotta do. And once I did that, you know, the whole experience really kind of shifted in a different way for me.
That mental. That mentality.
Salute to that though, because military helped a lot of our folk, our young kids, man. So
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, and it's also that thing of, you can be in a quote unquote bad situation, but it's your thought process that can help you out in that situation. And a lot of times the bad situations that we in are simply because our thought process is negative. You know what I'm saying? Once you start to think positive, you react positively, and your whole situation changes. And like you said, it was only for a temporary amount of time, and I don't think a lot of young people understand the perks of going into any branch of the military in that short amount of time, and that's a lifetime full of benefits that they receive from that, and advantages. So those young folks out there who don't have anything to do, instead of wasting time and putting yourself in harmful situations, hey, check into the military. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
Set
you can
yourself
go to
up
the
right.
office and catch a military office with good vibes, and just
And that's it from there.
So where did you get stationed at after Japan? Were you like where was your base at?
Oh, San Diego. I came back. The
You've been
ship
San
came.
Diego
Oh,
ever since.
Yeah, I've been in San Diego.
Wellington and all of that.
When
And
I
you
tell
really
you,
got a cool little setup for you. Like you
I
only went to Japan for a little bit and then San Diego the whole time.
ain't even tell you this. The other half. When I tell you, I had such a different experience. So we get back to San Diego. The ship had been in Japan for I don't know how many years. So when they got back here, they had to go into what they call the yards. So that's when they take the ship out the water and start fixing and repair. They basically take it apart and start putting it back together with the repairs. So we do that for like a year and some change, and then we started getting ready to go back out and do like a 6-month deployment and whatnot. And so we was on land for like another year or so. They started doing the gear up, and the day that we were leaving to go for like 6 months, they had been doing this thing called optimal manning, where they were using less people on the ships. The day we was like, I put my car in storage, moved out my little apartment. They literally was like, "Petty Officer Dow, we're not going to bring you with us." Due to the optimal man, they had this dude they let go play baseball, so they brought him back. I guess they trusted him more because
I mean,
I,
brother getting smiles on the boat. I'm just
They
saying.
seen you with them headphones on. It was like,
yo. So then I talked to the not the captain but the dude right under him. He was like, "Hey, I know it's unfortunate. We had to go to Hawaii first." They was like, "Yo, it's another ship that's gonna be in Hawaii. You can ride it with us. Check them out. If you don't want to go, then we'll just fly you back here. Say less. I know I'm coming back.
Right.
I'm coming back. But if you want to give me a free trip to Hawaii, let's make it do.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So I did that, flew back, and so that was what I can't even think of it. 2002. It's not too far after 9/11. So they ended up getting the start. So it went from like 6 months to like they was after like 9 months, maybe 10 months. And so all that time, so that's when I started going to college during that time, because literally we would get up, go like what they call muster, so take attendance, clean up for a couple of hours, and then we was pretty much done for the day. So I was like, yo, let me use the time to go to school, because they basically just paying me to go to school. So that's when I started my education.
I worked on the March Air Reserve Base for 13 years. Man, let me tell you, sometimes you go in that joint, man, it'd be nothing to do. You walk in, you check in, you get past base security. Man, we'd be at the gym all day hooping.
Right.
And they pay for your lunch to go hoop. Man, be like, where Benji at? Man, he in there hooping. It's like, it's 4 hours now. Just ain't nothing to do.
Ain't nothing to do. Yeah. Get that free education.
Better believe it.
And that's big. And with the education piece, so that led you into your profession that you have right now, which is that your, what you would call it, your primary profession, your day job?
Yeah. So my actual day job right now is I train and coach social workers, and a lot of that is also around like diversity, equity, and inclusion type stuff. So my experience with education was like I love to learn, but it was about like me. So my AA and bachelor's is in Africana studies, and I had a minor in psychology, because it was just about like the most consistent thing is going to be who I am and all my experiences. So I was like, that's why, because folks, I was, why you get a degree in African studies? What you gonna do with that? Like, I'm gonna be me, and I'm
Right.
gonna whichever wave that I decide to go. And sure enough, in that experience, like that opened up doors, because often I would start performing at places before. Like I was performing in college before I started even going to college. Like, so it just helped, see what other type of opportunities was out there. And so my current job I actually got because I was performing at this thing called All School Day for social workers. And the lady she happened to be there, and she builds curriculums, and they wanted to build a curriculum to help social workers work with African American families more effectively. Right. And so she saw my background being Black studies and psychology, and she asked if I would be willing to kind of help build that curriculum and do the training. And so that's what kind of like got me into that space, and it's been a great experience ever since. So
I can dig that, man, because from the conversation alone, you can tell you're articulate now. But let me kind of dip back a little bit, because you went into Japan. Let's go back into high school a little bit.
I don't think you're gonna do it.
I just want to find out. I mean, okay, listen, we sports heads. We sports hoop. We hoop. I hoop. You hoop. Ken hoop. Patricia, I know she hoop. Okay. When was the day you crossed Ken up? And when was the day he busted 3 in your face? I'm just saying. I know it had to happen. Give us the juicy details.
He didn't waste no time.
Right. I can't remember a specific day. I just remember we used to go at lunch. A lot of times we go at lunch, maybe shoot around in the morning, but we would go at lunch. Me, him, Contrell, Derek, a couple other folks who couldn't play, like Daniel and Denzel. They really couldn't play. They were just out there, holding space. And yeah, we just having fun, man. I remember, BK, did you play? You remember the day at the school when we got to Townview, and I think he was some catch some sock that ended up coming up there.
Yeah, we had dudes come to the school from other schools because they felt like we were a bunch of nerds,
right?
So there's no way they're going to be competitive, but they didn't understand, like for us, we also
bunch of Negroes from South Dallas and Oak Cliff.
Understand is in the school like that, you could also play at your home school. So for some of us, we ended up, like, I started out playing at Kimball, and Kimball had a really good basketball team at that time, so it was really competitive. And I grew up around those guys and playing with those guys, so we could really play. But we chose to go to this magnet school because the education piece was just so much that much better.
Right.
So when guys came to the school, like, they left with a different outlook because when they came in there, we gave a lot of people from other schools that came in, we gave them buckets. And the great thing I remember about Kendrick is we were always competing because we were two of the better players. We always competed. So I knew when I played against him, whatever it was, I better guard up because he gonna come with his A game. I gotta bring my A game.
Yeah. Got crossed up. Anybody get mashed on?
Hey, he didn't care.
Did anybody mash on anybody? I just
I don't think
you didn't mash on it.
No, I didn't dunk on him. Okay. A lot of times, I'm gonna tell you like this. A lot of times, what ended up happening was we played together because a lot of times when people would come from these other schools, we took the best of what we had, which was me, him, and a couple of other guys, and we always played together against those other teams. Right. So you know what I'm saying? Even though we didn't have an official team, and it was crazy because our coach at that time, our physical education coach, was Chris Dyer out of DeSoto and from SOC at that time. So, he ended up winning a state championship with DeSoto. So he was there and he saw the talent that we had. And he was like, you guys could be at another school, really playing basketball instead of wasting your time here.
Like, what are y'all doing here?
Brothers know talent when they see it.
Yeah. So
see, you came up in now any other schools, because I know Lincoln High School was popping back then, Ken. I know Lincoln, I went there for a year. Lincoln was popping. Like, the year with Chris Bob, I mean, it was just crazy. Like, did y'all ever go to any of those games, watch them cats, and be like, yo, like, we could compete with them? Because back in Lancaster, when they used to run their tournament, Lincoln would mash everybody. Period. So to see them hoop like that was legit. I loved watching them do it too. But did y'all ever get a chance to check them cats out?
I went to game. I know I went to games time to time. Like Lincoln was actually the school I wanted to go to. So
yeah, right over there off of Hoover. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was that one. Then I had some homies that played for Skyline and Madison. So I would go check them out from time to time and whatnot. But who was that? Maceo Bastion. I remember.
Yes, sir.
Like he used to come over there to the court. And so that was another thing. I'd be like, I tell Fiyah, I could have been in the league. It's like I could have been in the league. I know how hard I work. I know what I was doing out here. I was like, I just need some conditioning, a little bit of coaching.
Like, I know what I'm capable of.
Right.
I'm calling it.
Yeah, we definitely had the opportunities because a lot of these guys, especially, the guys out of Dallas at that point, if you played basketball, you were going to eventually run into them. You know what I'm saying? Outside just high school ranges, pickup ball and stuff like that at the local recs. Like, you was going to run into these guys. So that's when you can really see, okay, can I really hoop? Or am I just, you know what I'm saying, somebody who's just an average hooper? So, I played against some of the best that Dallas had to offer at that time, and I fared pretty well. So it was just for me, it was just a choice of, do I go over here and play sports, or do I go over here and receive an optimal education? And for me, the education piece was way more important.
Yeah.
So I dig it. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah.
So, but I wasn't.
You got crossed up. I mean, I see why you left the court. It's okay.
I wasn't 6'5" either then. So if I was 6'5" then, that probably the decision probably would have went the other way.
It probably would have.
Right.
Like I got this.
It's a fact. It's a fact. Yeah. So but like I said, we had a great time, man, in high school, and with guys like him, still sharp and still. We kept each other accountable. We had some adventures and we had some fun, but we didn't do stupid stuff that, got each other in trouble. And we make sure we walk across the stage at the end.
Right.
Fact. That's dope.
Yeah. That's dope.
So now that we got that piece, out of the way, we know
got the hooping aspect out of it. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Benji's not done. He's not satisfied.
So, we got a chance to figure out who you are as a man. Now, a lot of people know you from being the front man of your band, Lyrical Groove.
Right.
So let's talk about the band, how the band came about, how it was formed, and how did you become the front man? And, just talk to us about that.
So as I mentioned, like it started out as spoken word. So it was a group of folks out here I started collaborating with. We started this thing called Elevate. It was an open mic, and it's probably about 6 of us, actually probably about 8 or 9 of us actually. Mm-hmm. We started doing that, and so we made a space for spoken word. We had folks coming in from all over doing that, and then out of that, a good 3 of us, me and my buddy Rudy, Francisco, and Black, we started performing as a collective. So it was 3 of us. We got asked to do like an outside festival that was happening here, and doing poetry in an outside festival is different than when you got like a room of folks. The energy is different. So I was like, yo, if we're gonna do this, we need some musicians. And so I got some musicians to sit in with a day and just kind of orchestrated it, and it just worked. And so for like a year, we started doing gigs together. But then my homie Rudy, he's pretty dope. He's pretty known in the spoken word realm, like travels the world. That's what he does. He ended up, that's when he was like really started popping. So he had to start, he was traveling a lot. My buddy Ant moved up a couple hours away, so he couldn't be available. And so my buddy GK, me and him just kind of linked up, and he was like, yo, let's do this. And so we got a couple of other musicians and just started from there, and just, practicing and like we started with the whole pay to play, like, getting, trying to get these opportunities, and it just kept growing from there. So, and it's been somewhat of a shift in terms of the musicians. San Diego has a dope like live music scene.
Yes.
So I got it like if you mean like a snarky puppy, like it's just a whole group.
Come on, Layla Hathaway, Snarky Puppy. You gotta roll with Snarky Puppy.
So I just have like an ensemble of that level of musicians, and I can I need you for a gig and whatnot. And so my vocalist, she's pretty consistent and rocks with me. But yeah, so that's really kind of it kind of spawned out of all of that.
Yeah.
Kind of came.
Now, see how you gonna mention Snarky Puppy? It like that's everybody don't know who that is. Everybody don't know, but
The real ones know.
the sound that what were you trying to emulate when you originally came up with the thought, the idea, the sound? What were you trying to emulate anybody, or were you like, you know what, this is me, this is us? I'm sure there's a little bit of that in it, but was there anyone out there that you were trying to emulate?
I can't necessarily say I was trying to emulate anybody as much as I was drawn from the different influences.
Right.
So like Outkast is a very
That's
big
exactly what I heard. As soon as I heard the clip,
right.
I was like, Outkast.
Right. So the Outkast, I think folks attribute like a Tribe, you know, and then I grew up on gospel, so Kirk Franklin, Fred is all in there, but then you got like Floetry, Music Soul Child, Anthony Hamilton, like that songwriting dynamic is very much something I ended up kind of really loving and tapping into. So all of that, of course, Badu, hey sugar, that musical influence for me, because it's the impact and the power of the music. Like that's why I started doing poems at SART, the substance abuse facility, because I understand the power of the art. And so for me to mix the messages with the music was really just to kind of help people digest. Because that was the thing. Like, I don't know too many people that just listen to somebody doing a poem on repeat. And even then, you might, you used to have poets come through all the time. You might buy a CD and maybe you got one or two pieces that you listen to on repeat, but it was rare. So I really wanted to bring that element of like the listenability, the message, and like to do it on repeat was just adding that musical element. So you can listen to something first time, you just like, all right, cool. And you get attached to the hook, right? But then the second time you just do it like, oh, the words start to hit you. So it's like you always discovering something. Like Gil Scott-Heron, right? I think him and the Last Poets, Amir Baraka, those were some of like those also influences too of like what it could be and how it could sound.
That clip Ken played, I did that. Especially when you jump in with the Outkast. I'm like, okay, I see it. I like it.
It was immediate as soon as I heard it.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand too. When you talk about Outkast, one thing that stuck out to me back then was Big Rube, and Big Rube was very known, and as far as his poetry, and as of late, there's been a lot of artists that have went and got Big Rube and brought him back to do stuff on their projects, and people are like, "Who is that guy?" You know what I'm saying, spitting those bars, but it's like, I mean, you have to know your history. You have to know who that is and what he means to music and what he meant for us, you know what I'm saying, back then. And I'm glad that a lot of people are being reintroduced to this type of art form, because it's very much needed as far as expression and letting people know that there's some other avenues that in ways that you can express yourself other than just rap.
Right.
But one of the other piece I realized when I started to like go back and like trace my musical DNA of like spoken word and music, Above the Rim soundtrack.
Okay.
There was a track called Big Pimpin'.
Okay, yes, that's with
and it was
Dog Pound, And I have my pen.
In the hot California sun.
Yes.
Then smear drip or run that she turned trick eight to
zigzag. My pen. Yes, sir.
But the judges said, like I thought I was
that's classic right there. Yeah. That's you stir up something when you start talking about stuff like that.
AKA the reason you had to get out of touch.
That's a lift moment because it's a federal offense. Lord, they'll put you in full-fledged jail.
Oh shit.
All right. So speaking about like kind of like the with your band and you all starting to do shows and that nature, like at the very beginning, like how was that, I guess forming at the very beginning and developing your formula for how you did things, for how you perform and everything, and connecting with your band members?
So we started out, we practiced a lot. And I
Right.
think the other piece was like, so I'm not like, I don't play any instruments. So whatever, but I'm very musical. So in terms of me being able to say, like getting somebody to play a melody or something like that was how it kind of started. And
Do you,
then
do you get any backlash for that? For not playing an instrument, like from any band
who's gonna
type
know?
of guys? Is that like
He
foreign?
shouldn't.
Who's
He
gonna know?
shouldn't. He's got a
I mean,
musical ear.
yeah.
He didn't
I
say
mean,
his poetry.
and it's like I'm not behind the keys, like faking it. So
Right.
right. That's when you get some backlash.
right,
He's like, he ain't even playing.
yeah. But then also getting it like the further along you get, you see the different dynamics of the different things that people do as it relates to music. And like some folks, they specialize in the songwriting. Some, it's the performance. They don't necessarily write their stuff. They more so perform it. Some amazing singers, but they don't write. So once you start looking at it from that perspective, like you get to see the different dynamics of why it's a business, but then understanding like what all of that looks like. And so when we started, it was just about kind of just coming together for the love and finding opportunities, and we just always trying to play and get out there. The challenge, I think, for me was like at the time being married and having a kid, like how in balancing a professional career, a family, and this artistic journey, which I probably didn't do the best job early on. But that was kind of that
Sounds like
space.
most of us, to be honest.
Right. Especially when there's no mentorship, like there was no like, hey, this is what this should look like and all that good stuff.
It's trial and error, like all the way through.
Right.
Learning along the way.
Yeah. And so like I think I'm at a space right now where it's like, okay, I'm ready to like push it in a way that I probably hadn't before, because it's overwhelming. It's a whole lot of stuff that no one do. It's a whole lot of different ways to go about doing, but nowadays there's a lot of more tools and resources that are really available. And I think my experience has been just that of like, oh, y'all pretty dope. And I think at first I remember going to like an ASCAP music conferences, and they had like the listening stations where people could listen, give you feedback, and folks couldn't understand the vibe. They couldn't.
Right. Well, it was probably you think it was a foreign sound, so to speak, at the time, or what do you think? What was the root cause of that? You think?
It's not a mainstream thing. It's not a bubblegum pop thing.
Yeah.
It's a message based thing. It's you really have to listen to be like some of the context every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you're gonna necessarily automatically hear on the radio. I think we get in a space where we've kind of gotten to that space now, but you wouldn't have heard the stuff that we're doing on the radio. And so the business side of it is looking like, okay, what's going to hit now? And so now in a space of like having, and also just the growth that needs to happen. Like I think I've gotten better as a songwriter. I've gotten better as a performer. I've gotten better as a producer. So being able to blend all these different elements together in a way that feels maybe a little bit more cohesive, I think we're kind of at that point now.
Point. Yeah, definitely. And you're not far away, so you know what I'm saying. Folks who gonna watch this, you got to book him, but we got to go to a show. We got to go pull up on you, man. So we got to pull up on something.
I got a question though. How do you remember all them lyrics, man? Because
he's a smart man. He was down there with the
hold on though.
Yeah, they was trying to make him be the nuclear,
right.
Smart is one thing, but
Yes.
your memory is something totally different. You know what I'm saying? You can be an intelligent person but have a terrible memory, but you know how to do things, right? I equate intelligence to being like your superpower. Like he was saying, he doesn't play instruments, but he does well at the spoken word piece of it. So he's not going to cross over into somebody else's lane. You don't see Superman shooting spider webs. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so my thing is Superman knows this is my ability to fly. This is my thing. This is what I'm going to do. So, you know what I'm saying? In that aspect, you found your superpower.
So, so I produce now too. So, like Jay Dilla didn't necessarily play. I mean, on some level, I think he could, but he programmed like the drum beats, like he programmed. So I can do that, and I think, and like reading his book really helped me sink into that. Like, oh, you are a producer, because that's like this project, and I'm not sure if BK got a chance to share it with y'all or not, but like I produce probably about 95% of it and whatnot. And so to be able to also, that was another thing, like I think like 2015, is when I actually started like producing and whatnot, and just kind of growing that side of it. And I realized that helped me write in a different way, because I was then making the sounds how they came to me. And so
Right.
it got to touch me in a certain way so that I could like write to it in a specific way.
Do you feel like being able to write and produce, those two kind of like are a great marriage to have?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, when you're producing, you can kind of hear what you
Right.
want to do now, since you're the songwriter, right? So
Right.
it's a better okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then like I love, like I said, I love working with people. So the collaboration of bringing able to bring musicians in and like add that piece, and you
Mhm.
know, that piece has been like a real cool thing to explore too. So
What would you say was, from your standard, like what was my best show where we felt like we killed this? Where was that at? What was that moment? Talk to us about that.
so two, it's for different reasons.
Because
One
I
was
was gonna say, was it in Japan? But I forgot you was doing the thing.
so
So
so it's two. One was we had a seat. Our first album release was at the House of Blues here in San Diego,
right,
and just like it was dope. It was a good performance, but on top of that, like I felt like the whole city showed up. You know, it's like the 800,000 people, and it was just like all love, and like it was just a great experience. But I think hands down one of my favorite shows was when y'all come out here. A buddy of mine does this thing called Soul Sunday.
okay.
So it's really like a unplugged type of feeling. Like the musicians, they just go off and everything. But it was January 18th, 2018.
He
And
remembers the date. You could tell that day made an impression on that brother's heart. He remembered the date, the month.
the reason why it does is because I was going to initially get some guys to record it, to come in and like record it. And for whatever reason, I didn't do it. And so I just had my phone. And when I tell you, it just ended up being one of those magical moments, because the band caught the vibe, the crowd caught the vibe, and we just ended up doing like some random, like in the moment stuff that could only happen because of the people in the
Who
room
was
at
Just
that
the
moment.
vibe and chemistry
Because
within.
yeah, it just yeah. So that's why that particular show like really stood out. Like
okay? We're gonna have to pull up. We're gonna have to pull up the sun.
I'm like, that sounds like something to be at right there.
yeah. Oh
Pull
no,
up.
it's
Pull
yeah,
up on. We got to pull up on Sunday. We got to come check it out for sure.
yeah.
I need a beach trip anyway, so let me go ahead and plan some. Let me know so I
You
can
was
pull
just at some water not too long ago, man.
up.
Let me ask you this though: have you ever had any shows where you had celebrities pop up, or somebody that you just doing a show and you look out in the crowd, you're like, oh man.
You know what? I can't say, not that I know of off the top.
Do
I
you
know
even pay attention to the crowd when you're performing?
yeah,
You look that deeply into the crowd where you would notice somebody's face.
yeah,
If
no,
they don't show up,
right there. Like
somebody's girl for sure.
It's like you're there, but you're not there because you're living in the music in the moment, right?
right.
Like, yeah.
Like we've opened up for, if y'all familiar with Hiatus Coyote,
Mhm.
RC and the Grits, when they came out, you know, we opened for them. Familiar with the Foreign Exchange,
Foreign exchange.
we opened up for Zoe. Zoe had him and Cy Smith came out, or and Kwame Rogers, they came out. So we opened for them. So who else? Algebra and Anthony David. Uh, yeah, and there's maybe a couple more, but you know, we've had some shows like that opening up for folks. Or what?
Yeah, no, those are very dope artists, and people don't understand. You gotta do your Googles. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go and check these folks out because you
I know your music.
some good music. I had one question that was asked by somebody that we both know, Dr. Martin Boston.
That's the one. That's the one we was waiting on, right?
Shout out to Cuz. He out there. He was out there in San Diego as well, and he actually met Kendrick and they became cool. So he had a couple of questions, but the first question he wanted me to ask you was, he said that you all met attending concerts, a lot of concerts together. You like going to concerts. So as an artist, I thought this was a dope question. What are your top 3 concerts that you've ever attended, like for shows? Like what are your favorite shows?
Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna give you recent.
Okay.
I saw Jasmine Sullivan in L.A.
Ah, that girl can sing.
Man, She yeah.
She
Feel some type of way.
she hit every high note.
Oh, she hits every note. She
Yeah.
hits every note.
She
And
redid These Three Words by Stevie Wonder. Oh, man, she killed that song.
She's pretty dope. Yeah.
I remember this one just stands out. Like it was definitely a good show, but it also stands out. We saw I remember going to see Anthony Hamilton.
Okay.
And it was just one point in the show, and I'm like, because it was like a sit down theater, right? But you know, every now and then, folks get up. I just remember standing up, and I looked around, and I was like the only dude standing up, and I was just like, holy shit.
Like caught in the moment. He was living in the moment.
Like, how should I feel right now? And then I'm trying to see. Oh, Anderson .Paak.
Yeah, that's bucket. That's on my bucket list. I got it.
I'm already knowing, man.
Yeah. So let me clarify. So Anderson .Paak by himself, but then I went to Vegas and saw Silk Sonic.
Ooh.
When I tell you, I came out of there inspired. Like I was like, I'm
jealous, man. That's a show right there. I'm already
yo. And it was like nonstop. Like the whole show was just like, because I remember a couple of homies like, it was like, yo. And
both of them two dudes in a room with the choreography.
Yeah.
Pac does everything, man. He's a true musician. Like
both of them
just do it all, right? So I'm just that experience. And them live bands, oh man.
Yeah. They go off of each other, and then their energy together, their chemistry is crazy. I've seen a few videos. I know that's where I need to be at.
Yeah.
I need to watch.
I had a great time. But yeah, so I would say as a reason like those were the ones that stand out.
So who, in your opinion, is the dopest rapper out now? Give me your top three. Give me your top three. If we want to extend it to 5, we can go 5.
So
we gotta find out, because you know you're lyrical, so I know you put a lot into lyricism. So let's have this conversation. Top 5. Let's go top 5.
So I'll top J. Cole. Like he's J. Cole's for me. Like,
over K-Dot?
I appreciate him more sonically.
Okay.
Lyrically, both of them are ridiculous.
Both of them.
Sonically, with the type of music, and it's probably more the Southern connection as opposed to more the West Coast.
Right. J. Cole, yeah.
That's why it's J. Cole. I got a homie. So if you listen to the project I sent on that song, that motherfucker right there, the homie that's rapping on there, Rick Scales, he's a cat out here. He's like ridiculous. Like he freestyles, like, and he can really just hit any lane and whatnot. So like he's like one of my favorite folks to see and listen to, even though the world don't know who he is yet.
That says a lot, though. That's
no. I think it's that's the other thing I realized about this journey is like, off top is not about being the best, right? It's gonna be about the people that vibe, and do you get access? Like, you heard, like I know musically, folks who fuck with our music is also the thing of like, do you get exposed to it, or you get those opportunities? So and I get it. So when I think about my approach and just being true to me and my lane, I'm cool with that, right? Mm-hmm. And then who else?
Okay, not J. Cole's your one.
Yeah. Okay. J. Cole. Oh, Black Thought. Have you heard the new one yet?
Because Black Thought is killing all. I don't think none of them dudes want to have a battle with him. Nobody.
Yeah, Black Thought. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what. Hold on. You said Black Thought, but I'm gonna tell you one song. If y'all don't know who Black Thought is, go to Google and type in Black Thought versus Everybody.
Oh yeah.
If you
everybody
song,
goddamn body. Oh yeah.
You can understand why he put Black Thought in his top, because I mean, everybody knows the roots. Everybody sees them performs and sees the vibe that they present, and on the talk show and all this. But Black Thought has probably been one of the most underrated lyricists ever, because he's been one of the most consistent. He's never done a whack bar that I've ever heard ever.
Yeah, boy, tough
to get his just due.
Yeah, no, Black Yeah, Black Thought was ridiculous. And then
Cold Black Thought. Okay, I'm not shocked by the Black Thought. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at the Black Thought being top 2. Okay, all right.
So I mean, Andre is definitely up in that list for me. Like,
Okay.
just he need to go and do something, brother. But he's definitely in that.
He ain't did nothing in a while, man. But I mean,
Not man, but I do.
he did flow on the Kanye track. Okay.
But that's the crazy thing about Andre 3000. He might not release anything for a while, but when somebody puts him on the track, believe me,
Yeah, he's showing up.
It's a monumental situation.
He gonna deliver for sure.
So he gonna come and kill it, and he gonna go back into the hills for 3 years, and you might not hear nothing
Exactly. That's exactly what he does.
Stay away from all y'all.
The cool part about it, you're being mentioned in the top 10 of best rappers ever, and you don't even have a solo album technically, and you don't even appear, and you basically tour the United States playing a flute, but somebody says we need bars from you, and you come in the studio and absolutely tear the walls down.
He just drops on in real quick. And just
up in the hills.
You know what, Andre 3000, a lot of people might tear me down for this, but he's kind of like a hip hop version of Prince, where he appears and then he does something amazing and then just disappears.
I like that.
They say Prince used to do that. They say Prince used to come and you might not see Prince for 6 months, and then he comes and makes some appearances, and then you don't even know how he left the room. He just disappeared.
Right. Yeah.
George Day talks about plenty of times where he just pulled up on him. He didn't even know. He's just like Toast.
So
when he gonna pop up.
Andre 3000 has been known to do that too. Just pop up at the studio and randomly jump on somebody's track. So
monumental moment, and then
it's all in the moment. And just like Kendrick was saying earlier, when he went to the Navy office, it's about the vibe.
Yeah.
Into a situation, and you know what I'm
saying. And he left.
He came, he saw, and he got on. He'll be back.
I must say, and like L Boogie for me, she's
still in there.
Dog, like
she's still touring off the same album. So
but listen to Mystery of Iniquity off the Unplugged.
I mean, listen. She gets major props, okay? Like, to just do, like one album and for it to be riding this long, I get it. I understand. But come on, I mean,
listen to what I said. I said the Unplugged album.
Okay.
That's Bird Bones, None But Her, and the guitar.
Yep.
Like, that's the piece that I'm talking about. Like, as a writer.
That's your 4?
And the homie Rick Scales, like,
I
know more of his catalog. And don't get me wrong, like I'm in the music, so as of today, this is my 4 for today.
Right,
but tomorrow,
because
5 now, last one.
Scarface is right in there.
Okay, gotta have Face in there.
But hold on. We're talking about the Lauryn Hill. Before we move on from that, people gotta stop disrespecting that lady, because her art, her craft, she is a monster.
She's big.
I don't care how long it's been. Her album is still better than most people's whole catalog. Their whole one album.
I agree.
Most people's catalog. So we're talking about quality over quantity here.
Yeah.
So
I could agree with that. That album, she's still
Her musical talent, her ability to be able to sing, rap, and do all these other things that she can do and most people can't even do one thing well, and she does multiple things amazingly well. Like that's tough. Her personal issues took her away from the game and things like that, but her talent is still bar none, top of the line. Go listen to her track that she just did with Nas and on his latest album, and she burned it down. So she's
still hot. She's still hot. She can make it happen.
And Big Boy, I think he don't get enough credit.
Facts.
For the
his album, his last album, I can't remember. Oh, gosh, I'm forgetting the name of
I think
it.
it's
But it
Boomerverse.
had the song "Chocolate" on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Just cash check, and I'm about to blow it all on chocolate.
This guy.
Once again, why'd you have to leave?
Yo, that album is sick. I love that album. I love that album.
Okay, so, but okay, we got your list, but before we get too far gone, we were talking about the shows a little bit, so I want to backtrack just a little bit. And this is an important question because I think, you know, when we interview people, we asked about the good, but we never asked about the bad. And from an artist standpoint, it's just like with sports, you know what I'm saying? We talk about with sports, every athlete has a bad game.
Right.
Every athlete has a bad game. So have you ever had any bad shows? And if you did have a bad show, like how was that experience? How did you go through it? Because I say that because I was listening to Big Sean's album, and there's a story by Dave Chappelle on there where he talks about how he bombed because with Danny
Brown.
Danny Brown before the show, so he bombed. But
Yeah.
just like with any great artist, you're gonna do something that's not that great.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Honestly, I can say that it's not the norm. So that's part of it. The other piece is like knowing what preparation to do ahead of time. And not to say like there are times like I might flub for a piece, but I don't flub the whole show.
Okay.
So like that's piece of it. And I think if certain things are there, if the sound, because that's the biggest thing. If the sound is dope, we gonna be all right. Like the sound is straight. Musician wise, I think it was sometimes like you may have had a musician that was like, so you got to make do. But the other pieces, I come from spoken word. So there's a space where everything that happens is supposed to happen. So outside of the sound messing up, even if I flub, I'm coming back with it, or I'm figuring out a way to use that as a part of the performance. Or I've had like some, I was like, hold up, let's bring that back. Like
yeah.
Or I try to play it off or whatever. But I can't say I've just had like a horrible show or performance to where it's just like I got off and I felt like so dejected and didn't want to do it anymore. It may have been like a piece of something that happened in the midst of a show.
Right.
But I'm normally like I can come back from that.
Yeah, you did say earlier that you guys practice a lot. And so, you know, the term practice makes patience. Perfect practice makes perfect practice. So I can understand that part. And then I came out wrong. I'm sorry. That's the liquor talking. I'm sorry. It's gone.
Let you slide with that quote.
Don't refill it. Don't refill it.
Practice perfect. That's the liquor talking. I'm sorry.
Don't refill it.
I think early on there might have been like a performance or two where I'm like doing maybe one or two pieces and like it did not land, it did not hit. It was just like you get in your head and you're like but you got to have a short memory. You can't.
You get defeated if not.
Like that time when you cross Ken up.
Right.
This guy.
I told you he wasn't satisfied. I told you it was all on his face.
I mean, I had to. Ken always dropping the short jokes. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get him. You know what I'm saying? You know, just ever so often. You know, I had to throw one in there.
Yeah. Okay, Benji. But what I was gonna ask you too, Kendrick, is you ain't never had to hit the band members with the Ike, did you? You know what I'm saying? Remember how Ike was performing and the band messed up and he turned around with
hit him with the Ike? Like
a quick turn, like, oh, I heard that note. Like,
everything is sensitive, right? Because you're every moment is impactful. Everything has to be on rhythm.
You know what? To that point, you know what? D Smoke came to a show we did in LA.
Okay.
It was like before he was on the show though, because he knows my drummer. And so they came out to it. Him and his lady came out to a show. But to that point, it was that particular show, which I was hot because my keyboard player was doing something that was like he ain't never did. Oh, you know what? Let me take that back. We got two shows. So it was that show, and both of them happened to be in LA. It was that show with my keyboard. I'm not like, bruh, like, I think that
Help Ike.
mentally, it was like, I think this relationship is done. And then we had another show in LA at the spot called the Mint, and we had this guy subbing in on guitar. Good guy, plays, but he normally does like reggae and ska type, his own stuff, and then other people. But he plays straight ahead too. And for whatever reason, like, we had rehearsal, but then on the performance, he starts doing all the reggae stuff and the reggae interpretation of the music. Like,
Oh,
Like, hold, wait a minute.
like it just, and it was just like, we rolled through it, but it was just like, and I think as a leader, like, learning how to communicate in those moments and stuff like that, I probably didn't do that well back then, because at that point it was just like, you just saw her take it off, like,
all off key. Like, wait, why you got me in G sharp?
Yeah, so that part, like, some of the dynamics.
He really was on that energy, like,
finish him.
Right.
He really
right. Sitting up there like, hold on, wait. We didn't rehearse this.
Hey, you messing with my money, man. Come on,
right.
We're doing this show, so and so here. What is going? He's probably trying to show out. You know what I'm saying? Show, do something.
And then you can't really fully express yourself.
Yeah, like
and
when it hits. Yeah. So those are two that
hit him with the Ike, huh?
That's how you do the kids too in the store.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you gotta do.
Look at them.
My kids know the look is death defying.
When my son gave it back to me when he was about 2, I know I had a problem.
You'd be great. That look is death defying. I think that's
like, oh, wait, what? Okay.
All right. So Lyrical Groove is an award-winning band. So talk to us about some of the accolades that you all have received as a band, and I also wanted to ask about record deal offers as well, so you can answer both of those.
So, in particular, the San Diego Music Awards, like, this is when we started, maybe 2010 and maybe like 2013, I believe 2014. Like, I didn't even know we were even like in the mix to be nominated, but we ended up winning then, I think, and then another in like 2015 and then 2017 as well. And so we actually were working with this label out in Vegas and whatnot. And so we're going to be releasing the next project with them and whatnot. But it's just, one, because we did the last one with them as well. But we're gonna see how it goes. At this moment, it's more just a distribution thing. So some other opportunities we're hoping to get, but I'm just, fill it out and see how it goes. If it works well, some things come, then we'll explore some more. But if not, then we'll be looking at some other opportunities.
Well, we already know it's gonna be hot because it's if it's anything like the first clip, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot.
Yeah. No.
No, go ahead.
No, and I'm pretty excited about this next project because it's been like we released the last project in 2015.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, it's been some time.
Time coming in.
Yeah, but with this, if you listen to it, like I felt like I crafted a piece of work, and you get the expression of my band. Like we do a show, you're gonna get some hip hop, you're gonna get some soul, you're gonna get some poetry, all these little elements kind of mixed in together, and I think the project really sings to that.
And this is the one where now you're more producing and writing, so this project has that in it.
Yeah. So I produced it as well.
Touch on it. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the deal that you have with, like you said, is a distribution deal, but your band itself is independent pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because see, like I said, a lot of times, from a fan standpoint or from an audience or listener standpoint, people don't know the music business, how it works and how it operates. And now You know, it used to be getting a big record deal, and that was the most, that was the best thing for you. But now it's like so many outlets. Like it's better for you to kind of be independent if you know how to, push yourself out there. And the only thing you need help with is, like you said, the distribution piece of it. But other than that, like you can manage your own stuff and make a whole lot more money if you're independent.
Yeah. And I think the other piece that comes along is like, no matter, like, you have to build that team around you. And I think that's the other piece that I was missing. And that piece has kind of started to fall in place, right? So now when I think about going to do a show, I got somebody that I can be like, yo, scout out some locations and some different spaces, and we can take that James Brown approach, and, and rent a venue and go in there and do a show. And then I got some other connections with some other folks that, hey, we come to your city, can we shop on a bill together, and kind of make that wave happen for ourselves, as opposed to maybe hoping somebody else could do it for me.
Now we're out of COVID and we're into monkeypox season. Does it bother you at all when you're out there? I'm just saying, for any of your live shows, would you ever be like, man, I ain't doing this because, like, talk to us about any of that, because
right.
Things happen.
So the thing about San Diego is there's a lot of outside venues, so it isn't as crucial and whatnot. Right. I think depending on how things are and, like, the well-being, like, of folks, definitely want to keep that in mind and whatnot. So depending on the venues, there's good spacing and whatnot, because that's the other piece. Like, depending on the venue, there's a good distance away from the audience and everything, so it's manageable and whatnot. So
I mean, breathing on you.
How did COVID affect you in any way, or dealing with that and going through that transition with everyone else?
So it's a few different ways. On one hand, so the paid artistic opportunities kind of died off, but my professional world of counseling, coaching, trainings, like that skyrocketed.
So it just kind of
and so I was able to tap into the music as more of like my own therapeutic space to just kind of create from and take those experiences and express them over here. And so that was kind of like the main way. And then we haven't talked about it, but I do acting, and I work with a theater from time to time as like a teaching artist. And so that was another way that things kind of shifted, because we started doing like some different activities around theater and, outreach and engaging people with different things. And then I teach too. I teach a history of hip hop at San Diego State University.
Okay.
And so I started doing that like in the pandemic, like in fall of 2020, because I only do it one semester out of the year.
San Diego State SDSU. Okay, all right. I ain't mad at it. Got some great running backs that came from there.
Yeah. Hey, I played with Kawhi. I mean, he probably don't remember it, but
wow, that was a minute ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now because Kawhi is from Movac. So like me, because we remember him from King University. Like not King University, King High School. That's where I remember him from. Seeing him and watching him play there. That experience playing with him, how was he then? Like, how was he the same dude?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was just a pickup game. But but yeah, I remember he threw it off the backboard and tried to
bash on you like King was supposed to do.
Not me.
Oh God.
I was a spectator. So, but nah, he was like, I could see how dope he was then. Like, so I'm not surprised.
Getting the hoop on. You know what? I love that some hoopers is on. I appreciate this. I appreciate
this guy. I can't wait. The audience, y'all already know. The next time that me and Benji are in the same city,
we're gonna hoop.
That's what needs to happen.
We're gonna get footage.
We're gonna have to do this live. I'm just saying.
I believe so, and I'm gonna have to be there just to keep scoring. Make sure you ain't cheating, Benji.
Facts. Oh,
wow.
We're gonna have to worry about
I
that.
need to cheat. He's 6'5". I'm 5'9". What I need
We
to
don't have to cheat. So
I'm
we
not.
gotta
Yeah,
make
Jim
sure.
say she knows. She knows you're gonna have to cheat.
The best strategy is don't let the tall bro. Okay, listen, you can't do no post ups, only jump shot. That's it. Because listen,
You're still gonna lose.
just saying, you can't post me. I'm 5'9". I mean, you're 6'5". So
never come in
steal
the
the ball anyway a couple times. I'm just saying.
I would never come in the paint. All I gotta do is shoot jumpers on you all day, and I'm still gonna win. So
No, I'm getting a couple of them. I promise you that. I still got.
Well, you gotta get more than a couple to win now, Benji.
We do math over here.
okay. Okay.
See how I get picked on this show?
Well, Benji's talking about beating me in basketball, which is going to be very difficult for him. So, in that vein of being difficult, what's the most difficult thing
Tomorrow, man, we're going out the hoop. You know what I'm saying?
What's the most difficult thing about working in the field that you're in, as far as your profession, your day job, and also as an artist and being a front man of a band?
I don't honestly. I don't think it's anything about those particular spaces because they actually make space. Like the professional work actually inspires the artistic work.
Right.
Like if that on that song "Chilling in the Garden," like that second verse is dealing like with the stuff you got to deal with in the office when you got people that are,
little special.
Microaggressions and all that different type of stuff, right? But I will say in both fields is the managing personalities. Like that's the piece that can be a challenge at time, whether it's the direct people that you're working with, or like I'm talking to a promoter, somebody that's trying to book you for a show and trying to manage the needs of everybody. Like that's kind of probably the most challenging.
I can see that
I
communicating.
can see all of those personalities you have to deal with.
Yeah. So
and then going Ike on a few people for the keyboard man for going left. You know what I'm saying?
No, but not even
on stage with him.
Right. Like most of the folks I work with like that flow is there. But like I said, like when you are like at a venue, you're trying to get, everybody taken care of, and the person that you're kind of dealing with that's on behalf of the venue, or the, like those type of communications, or like dealing with,
and people don't know how to communicate. That's what you learn.
That can be the challenge.
Okay, so what's your ultimate goal for Lyrical Groove? Like, where do you all see yourself 5-10 years from now? Like, what's your ultimate goal?
So ultimately, I would like to get to a space where I can like tour the world a bit every now and then, but I'm not trying to like just be on tour like that. And also like move music and film and TV and stuff like that. And I would also like to produce and work with some other folks. Like that's what that vision is looking like. So
okay. Now in terms of you guys as a whole, what would you say is like your best song that you loved over the years? The one that gave you like the best experience or whatever, inwardly, whatever. Which song would you say you guys as a whole was like, you know what, this I love this one? Because I'm sure you adore all your tracks, they're your babies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's something different. So I think one of them on top is one called Never Enough. And that one is kind of relationship theme or whatnot, but also from reflection. Like the Outcast, the clip that y'all saw is a piece called Ode to Outcast. And like to just weave all, because when you listen to it, I'm taking lines from songs, I'm taking titles from songs and albums and whatnot, and I just weave it into a cohesive piece. Right. So like that particular piece, and then I think the other one that really kind of stands out is this one song we got called "How Many Different Ways."
Okay.
And it's a hip hop. It's like a historical hip hop piece, going through different elements of what hip hop is and different moments. And I'm like on one line I compare like yesterday I took a trip to BK. They reminded me. Yesterday I took a trip to BK, and I compare Biggie and Pac, and then I had a dream and there was a movement. On one side there was WEB, and on the other was Booker T.
Okay.
And like just just the creative standpoint to like weave all these different thoughts and ideas in a way that actually like he makes sense.
I get that. Y'all go check both of them joints out. Never know.
Well, we want them to check them out. But while we're talking about that, can you tell the people like what platforms your album's work is available on, so they can go and check it out?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're on all like Spotify, Apple Music, all those. What else? Amazon. Like we're on all those particular spaces. And the new project, I haven't necessarily. It's going to be out this year. Definitely, we'll probably do a single in October, another single in November, and then drop it in December. I think that's what we're looking at. But we're starting to work on visuals and get some other things out there. I'm pretty excited. Like that motherfucker right there is like my favorite song.
He's waiting for that joint.
Okay.
Like
well, as when a musician or artist or whatever, when you get that feeling, it's a good joint.
Well, speaking of that, I broke off a little clip of some of the new music that he has coming, and I took a little bit of a song. Like I said, I'm not gonna give y'all a whole bunch. I'm gonna give y'all just a little taste because you need to be aware of what's coming. So check out this clip so you can be ready to go ahead and hit that download and like and share and subscribe and all that stuff to this new work when it comes out. So check out this clip.
Let's hear it.
Come on. Right there. She living, she don't care about whispers in the air from haters who don't matter. They can kiss her derriere. His vision's crystal clear. He let go all his tears. He traveling and he focused. He don't go just anywhere. That don't mean it don't get hard. They just learn the lessons from the pain of their own scars. She got her peace, she got a strong mind. It be about business, he don't waste time. They find self-care in the middle of the grind. Need a lesson in success, he might just find.
Okay.
Now, to me, like I said, I love music like this because you can play it at any point. Anywhere you are, you could play, songs like that. Especially, with the album's content, which you'll find out, it's definitely a grown folks music, grown folks vibe, but it's very, very dope. And you can play it a bunch of different places that's not church. So,
I mean, I don't know. Nowadays, we got a little bit of everything in church. I don't know.
Some stuff in the church that you.
That might be the pastor theme song coming up. I'm just saying.
He might get in the car and jam it. He might get in the car and
jam it. I don't know.
But hey. But like I said, it's dope music. He sent me the full work. I got a chance to check it out extensively. I listened to it probably about 4 times because when it comes to music. I listened to music the first time, and like he talked about earlier, when you listen to it the first time, you catch on to hooks, you catch on to, certain things. But you have to listen to an album. Like when somebody says, "What you think about that new Game album?" I gotta listen to it 3 or 4 times before I really give you an honest.
You got like 500 tracks on there. You got to listen to that for a whole month.
Well, I mean, and just like what we talked about earlier, though, quality, quantity over quality, or quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Just because you have a bunch of music, it doesn't mean that the project is amazing. And I go back to Chris Brown, we were talking about at the beginning of the show. That's what makes him such a monster in the music, because he'll come out with an album with 30 tracks and all 30 of them joints will be bangers.
Yeah.
But with the project that you all have coming out, and I actually got a chance to check it out, I think the audience and I think the people will be very pleased with it, and it'll be something that you can jam in your car. You can ride around on the weekend with your windows down and your car cleaned up and just vibe. You know what I'm saying? And definitely you got a bunch of showpieces too that you can
cigar and wine type. Yeah. Perfect.
And that was kind of like the space of me making the music, because I wasn't trying to do something for the kids to like and vibe to.
Right.
Like, I'm a grown man. I got grown bills. I got grown folks problems. I got a daughter that's almost grown. Like, and so I wanted to write something that we could appreciate for our age.
Right. Right.
and still be jamming, but still like at the same time, like we doing stuff. We just want to kind of ride. We don't. It ain't always got to be heavy with it. Or,
Yeah.
you can ride. You can, some with a message that can actually kind of speak to your soul a little bit. So I wanted to make sure like it hit those different dynamics.
I'm sure it's different having a daughter. You got to represent in a different way.
Not for me, because
you're like, nah, not for me. But I mean, your content, I'm sure you can play at any space, at any time, like Ken said.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like I listen, like my daughter critique, like she lets me know, like, daddy, I'm feel like she's helped me out with the process.
Right.
So I think that's probably one of the most beautiful experiences, to be able to share that with her. And she's a filmmaker too, so I even like some of the stuff I produce, like she'll put it in her film as like, music to kind of go along with a scene or whatever. So it's real cool.
Now, that's dope too, because you ain't gotta, make sure you have the rights to the music.
Right.
Like she got the rights to the music.
Right.
And that's funny, because it's funny that you say your daughter's in the filmmaking, and it's one of those things where we used to always say creatives create creatives. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when you have a parent that's artistically inclined, no matter what way they're artistically inclined, they usually have children that are the same way, because of their upbringing, because of what they see, the influence of the parents. So, and that's dope, because these kids got to understand they got to have a way to express themselves.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
So as we get ready to close out, we like to close out and give the guests an opportunity to offer up any advice, anything inspirational or motivational that you want to leave the audience with.
Oh wow, that's. I think I was just talking to a couple of friends today, and talking about the skills you need to survive don't serve you when you're thriving. And I think a lot of times folks get stuck in this space where whatever we did to survive growing up, or in whatever like traumatic or just dysfunctional space, it doesn't serve you in the same way when you get to a space where you're not dealing with that dysfunction, or
Right.
dysfunction all the time. Like, no, you can't just haul off and knock somebody in the head. In this environment, you need to actually have a conversation and talk about it, and express your feelings, instead of shutting down and stuff like that. So I think that's probably the message for somebody today. It's just like, sometimes you got to learn some new ways to do things as you're navigating life and navigating whatever new levels that you get at.
I dig that. That.
So let the people know how they can find you on social media, you and your band. So give them that contact information, and y'all please go to these media.
You might be at your next show, your next event, your next book launch, or whatever it may be. Hit my man up and go check it out.
Yeah, on Instagram is The Lyrical Groove, as well as my personal is Mr. Lyrical Groove. And then, like I said, we're on all platforms in terms of SoundCloud, Amazon and Apple Music, Spotify title. You can just search Kendrick Dial or The Lyrical Groove, and it'll come up. So,
all right,
hit it up.
Easy.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, my guy. And like I said, we definitely got to connect with Benji so we can get buckets. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna
go out to what is it? Soul Food Sunday, Soul Fest Sunday. We're gonna go out there. So I don't know, Ken. I might have to catch you. I might have to catch my boy and Patricia and head out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
So Sunday, we got you.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm down for that groove.
All right.
Hey, we got one this Sunday. If y'all around, if you're trying to bust some moves.
We'll check it out.
Well, facts. Like I said, we appreciate you joining us, my guy. If you could wait backstage for us, and we close out the show so we can chop it up a minute backstage. Once again, we appreciate you, y'all, audience. Kendrick Dial of the Lyrical Groove and the many talents that he has.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just so y'all see that name, Kendrick Dial, MSW, BRM. Y'all know what that means?
Nah.
I was hold on. I'm gonna throw something in there funny. MSW. That's I can't even think of nothing right now.
The
It's good.
MSW is Masters in Social Work. So that's
Hey, I was gonna say that. Check me.
But
Okay, so the BRM is a bachelor's in
Something
No.
music.
no, it's Black Renaissance man.
okay,
Ah,
Renaissance man. Okay.
So only reason I was like, you know what, because I'm not initially I was gonna get license, get my LCSW, and I was like, I wasn't doing it because I wanted to like do private practice or nothing like that. I was just doing it maybe from a community need standpoint, and so I was like, you know what, when I decided to make the pivot, I was like, you know what, let me just give myself my own 3 letters instead
All
of
right.
these others.
So
So I was like,
in his own lane. I like it.
let me get my own letters.
I can appreciate that.
So yeah, they're gonna get this Black Renaissance man.
Facts. Well, like I said, wait backstage for us, my guy. We're gonna close this thing out. We appreciate you for sure.
Yes, sir.
Kendrick Dial. All right, my people. Y'all,
Yeah, I did.
We close out the show. Trisha Michelle, talk to the people. Let them know how to find you. Let them know what you got going on before we get up.
Nobody to find her.
Oh, they gonna want to find her when you in TikTok.
Y'all can find me everywhere.
Yeah.
Trisha Michelle _YT on Instagram, then Trisha Michelle on YouTube, Trisha Michelle on TikTok, Trisha Michelle. I'm everywhere. Just Trisha Michelle. It's really easy to find me. And yeah, I'm trying to grow this TikTok so I can monetize it. I'm monetized on YouTube and Instagram. I need to be monetized on TikTok.
Man, I keep thinking I want to go on TikTok, and I don't know.
Ooh, you should.
I know it, man. I know it. And
live on Facebook all the time, and you cooking.
Right.
All these videos, all this content that you have can be easily created and pushed into a TikTok video. So
I don't doubt it. I know I eventually have to break down and
old people
the world of TikTokers. So
the tickety talks, huh?
Yeah, the TikTok old people. This guy.
I'm going to follow y'all on there and just antagonize both of y'all.
That's fine. Because I'm always on there.
Right?
Well, we appreciate you joining us again today, and just for our audience, we're very transparent. We had a conversation with Trisha Michelle, and we're going to bring her into the fold. So you're going to be seeing her more regularly on the show.
Yeah.
So, to this face and get used to her commentary because she's here to stay.
Yeah, she kicking it with us now.
Eyes here now.
And all that kind of stuff. It's
if you don't run her off.
Better. Until I find out who she got as her GOAT. We ain't gonna say that right now. We gotta find out who your GOAT is, but not right now.
That's another episode. We ain't gonna even start that conversation.
Right, I'm like, this is a whole nother 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You're gonna be trying to go back and forth.
All right. Benji, talk to the people.
Y'all know me, man. Y'all can find me on Facebook. You can't miss me. My name is in the logo, in the cover photo. You can't miss me. IGBRB4701. Got some of everything, man. Y'all just go follow. Go follow the Fiyah session, though. Go do that on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe. All of that stuff.
Subscribe.
That's what we want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want you to do.
As I always tell y'all, that's Benji Banks, the man, the brand. You know what I'm saying? That name is going to be synonymous with Benji and his wines and the things that he's doing. Just watch.
Yeah.
We growing
up. I got wine too that I gotta.
Oh yeah. What?
I gotta do my content, my videos, my photos, so that's coming soon.
Yeah. Two of the babies is brand newbies, so I need your opinion. That's the taste tester. She's a taste tester.
I can't wait.
She's a taste tester.
Just don't drink that the other brand. You know what I'm saying? Just don't do that the Kool-Aid. Just don't do
that. No, like that.
If you do,
I don't know why people.
I know you don't do Stella Rosa, but
hey, stop saying that name. stop saying that name.
I get offended every time I hear the name.
His heart like jumps.
Right. It's like, what is going on here?
We want people to feel comfortable drinking whatever they want to drink.
Whatever they want. But
they want them to turn.
See, there you go, girl. There you go.
But don't make sure you try something different and compare.
That's why I was just going to say.
And see if you still belong over there.
Yeah. That's what we want. We want
I like that.
there.
Great job.
So yeah, y'all already know y'all can catch me at Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. You can catch the Fiyah Session on all social media platforms. Just type in FIYAH session and boom, we're gonna pop up on whatever social media platform you own. Hit that like, share, subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, do all of that and hit that little bell to get those notifications. So when we go live every Tuesday, or when we have special live shows that are not scheduled, and we will have some of those because we got dope people popping up, and they can't come at the regular time. So we got to do those things. You're gonna miss out. So you don't want to miss out. So notifications,
especially on some of these interviews. I'm trying to tell you, it's so,
you want to get. You want to get those notifications. So beware, you know what I'm saying? Go and support and like and share and subscribe. Again, you know, we appreciate Kendrick Dial for joining us. And I appreciate Benji, and I appreciate Trisha Michelle for coming through and always doing what they do.
I appreciate y'all for letting me in a little mix.
I mean, you knew you was in the first day you jumped on. Quick.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to say this though. Ken, listen, man. The fact that you get on here, you make our ads, you put it all out there, man. Salute to you. Because putting it all together, I know this ain't easy. I know folks see us, we come on and, you know, whatever. But there's work that goes behind it. So appreciate you behind the board. I'm going to start doing a Kid Capri little session. You know what I'm saying? Let you get a little scratch in. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, but it's all for the love, because y'all know that, you know, when we first started doing this, it's a passion project. We don't get paid for this. This is just something that we love to do and that we love to bring to the people. So we appreciate the audience for always tuning in and supporting us and sharing the content and getting on in the comments and you know, asking questions, because it helps drive the show. So we appreciate you all very much. And without you all, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to thrive the way we are. So we appreciate you all. But y'all already know, we'll be back next Tuesday with another dope episode. So tune in. It's gonna be a very, very good episode. Very, very dope topic. I'm just gonna tell you, you gotta follow our sites to see the topic, to chime in, because you want to be here next week. You don't want to miss it. Y'all know we always got something interesting, but we're gonna let y'all get on with your lives. We got
taco.
We appreciate y'all. It is Taco Tuesday as usual.
That's on the menu tonight.
I already ate some. I'm about to go get some more. So it's just,
you already ate some tacos.
I already. What kind of tacos are you talking about, man?
You gotta clarify.
I need to clarify.
You know you can't do Benji like that, and we even had a glass already. He's like, huh?
Okay. All right. We're gonna leave him alone. He ate some tacos, y'all. So
it's okay. I take all the banter. Luckily, these are two of the dopest people I've ever met in my life. So I mean, they can say what they want. They cool with me.
Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna crack open one of the wines with my tacos today.
Okay. Yeah. So you got to let us know how that wine is, because
we got that. See, you get that new stuff. See that new stuff.
That 2022 wine.
That new stuff.
That new release. All right, y'all. We're gonna let y'all get back to y'all lives. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. Y'all tune in next week for another dope episode. Until then, y'all be safe.
It's time to say goodbye to all my Negro friends.
Yeah, it's definitely time to go when he starts singing. Bye, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the Fiyah Session. Follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session.